Welcome to the regular meeting of the Monterey Peninsula Airport District Board of Directors meeting. It's 5:31. We need to call the roll.
Director Amati,
Present.
Director Gagliotti,
Here.
Director Leffel,
Yes.
Director Miller, and Chair Pick.
Yes. Pledge of allegiance. Do it. Repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And for the new folks in the room, please silence your electronic devices. Communications, announcements, and informational items.
None from staff.
Thank you. Board.
Not from me, thank you.
Okay. Public comment on non-agenda items. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on any item not on today's agenda. We'll open public comment, seeing staff is in the room and no public online. We will close public comment. Move on to the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as public.
Okay.
Second.
Denise, you got those? Roll call, please.
Director Amati,
Aye.
Director Gagliotti,
Aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes.
and Chair Pick.
Yes. Thank you. Consent agenda is passed unanimously. No items under deferred consent. Regular agenda action items. Item G1. Construction project update.
We have Dan Johansson, our project manager for the terminal side, and Tim from Hensel Phelps here to give you an update on where we are on construction.
Great.
Gentlemen? Yep, wait. Wait.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Yep. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. We're back for an update for how we're progressing with our safety enhancement with the terminal and land side.
Dan, please use
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
microphone because it's just for the specific.
There we go. Is that better?
Recording. It is better.
Okay, let
Yep,
me
thank
do
you.
that way.
Yep.
All right. So similar to last time, we'll just give an update of where we're at and where we see things are happening in the next 3 months. I will start with the land side. And so what we've been working on so far is what we're calling the shift from what was the second temporary long-term lot to now the new long-term lot on the southwest corner and southeast corner of the airport as they work to shift the middle part of the long-term. What you also notice is we're going to start beginning the roundabout here in the next couple weeks. There was a rat's nest of utilities underneath Garden Road and Olmsted, so we were running those to ground to make sure that we could remove all those complications and those conflicts. And we are looking forward to finishing the roundabout in September and then doing some of that final infiltration basin as well as the long-term parking lot entrance and drive lane work. And so next slide gives you the pictures, the aerial photos of our interim parking lot for the time being that you can see there on the southeast corner of the airport and the new, is there a?
It doesn't.
Yeah. So if you see the new entrance right as you come off of Olmsted, right there on the right, and then up there on the upper right-hand corner, you get a better view of the new entrance, temporarily speaking.
To it because you're mobile.
What's that?
I said you can walk
Okay,
up and
yeah.
to it because you're mobile.
There we go. So yeah, so we got the new temporary entrance right there, just right off across from the hotel for reference. And
Dan,
then-
I'm sorry, before you move on, I did have a quick question for you. So with regards to the roundabout, I had in my notes that it was previously supposed to be March 2 to July 31st were the targeted dates, right?
Correct.
And so now you said September, when is it supposed to be done in September?
Mid-September. So as I alluded to, unfortunately, due to some of the unforeseen conflicts with utilities. And so that took more time than expected. And that's what has postponed because we were shooting and aiming to be done prior to concourse for obvious reasons.
Okay. And then were there downstream impacts from that pushing out? Or, I mean, were there resources that were allocated to the road work that then were delayed in doing other landside improvements or?
No, so they were able
Okay.
to shift just as they were, because they were able to do things simultaneously. It was just trying to clear the work, the underground work to do the roundabout itself.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on that same timing. How's it gonna impact the motor lux and all the car carriers?
So we're gonna work through that. Unfortunately, it is going to be happening during concourse. The whole idea was to avoid this from happening.
But remember, there's no auction
Auction.
here on site
Correct.
this year. So, and Brian has worked with and talked with the city of Monterey to make sure they had no concerns on Garden Road with the concourse week or with the events, and they did not. So we've worked with the city to make sure that they were comfortable with the timing and they had no issues. So.
We're gonna have to do a lot of communication with people who are flying out of here.
Yeah.
Because we know the carriers park on Garden Road, even if they drop at Pebble or Quail or someplace else, because that's Monterey City's no man land.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
city has not let them over the last 2 years. They actually are told they can't. So they've no longer been able to park on Garden Road. They've been pushing them off. So the city has banned it
Hmm.
from happening.
Go ahead. You good?
We'll see.
Okay.
And then just to give you guys an update here, so here's the phasing plan as we foresee it with phase one, as I said, starting here in a few weeks, and traffic control. And then as they work through where this will be,
Wait, I get that. What phase one, what is that? I just want to kind of get my bearings on what that was.
I'm sorry, John?
Can you go back one?
That.
Just orient us to where?
Yeah, so what you have here is here's Olmsted.
Okay.
And then you're gonna come in, let me see, it's kind of blurry, unfortunately. So here's Highway 68 right here, and there's Olmsted. So and then Garden Road is right here.
I know.
So this is the curve right here
Yes.
into the airport. So right here. So they're gonna start on the east side.
Yes,
It's
thank
phase
you.
one,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
and then switch over to the other
Right.
side. So essentially southbound traffic as you exit the airport.
Which is why, Dan, go back to the east side in phase one, which is why we pushed the entrance to where we have for parking for now, so that they can get into that whole section, which was our entrance to parking, and get that all taken care of. So we eventually will have, and then where they're entering and exiting now out of parking will just be an exit in the future.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask thank you. Want to know that.
Yeah. As the sequencing, yeah. So there's a lot of moving cars, musical cars. And then phase three, there we go. And then phase three will be that southwest quadrant as they work to complete the roundabout. And then we also have a snazzy little animation because pictures tell 1,000 words.
How did you do that?
I don't know. I wish I
Actually.
Magic, Carl.
magic.
Kimley Horn has software that can do that in their traffic division. So Lucas came out and flew the drone. So he was able to get, because you can see the terminal being built over there on the right in the corner. So it's a drone photo that then they superimpose the animation on top of.
That shows the entrance where they are entering now, right?
Correct. So it's showing entrance. and
Yes,
exit
this will
today.
be, yeah. So this is the temporary entrance that we have just finished, and obviously then the main entrance over here when it's all said and done.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm sorry, the temporary entrance is going to be
To the south right
operational
here.
entrance.
And this is the one that they're using right now
Right,
as they work as phase one, which is right here.
right.
So that's why we had to open this first, because then we're gonna block this off as they're doing
Thank you.
this part of the.
That will be the exit
Correct. yeah,
eventually.
Eventually for the long-term parking.
For long term. But will you be able to actually go out through the roundabout? I mean, I'm just thinking you're gonna have to make that, left to go to get, so that means you'll be cutting across Homestead.
Eventually, you mean, in the future?
Yeah, if that is an exit, as opposed to just like, it's so easy to enter using the roundabout, it would also be easy.
So in the future, you'll be able to exit from the terminal complex main road. So if you're in premium parking or picking up
Yeah,
and dropping,
right there.
directly
Yep.
into the roundabout.
Yeah,
If
right.
you're coming out of long-term parking, you're gonna have to take a right.
Yep.
And it'll be a right only, and you'll go in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, you have,
Don't
you
turn
yeah,
left.
right. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Okay, good.
So you still
They're
get
gonna have
funneled
to
into.
do- You're gonna have
Right,
to
right,
do the
okay,
U-turn.
good.
So I'm sorry, one more question. I still don't have my brain around it. So the temporary entrance,
Right here.
right there.
Yep.
Is that going to be the in and out until the roundabout's completed?
Yes.
Okay,
And then this will turn into the exit
right, got
for
it.
the long-term lot.
Thank you.
One of the other things we did with this temporary condition is we've installed the new software for parking
Mm,
as well. So it gives us an opportunity to start to test
Yeah.
it and see how it works, see how labor intensive it is, really start to get a feel for how that new parking software works.
Fantastic.
All right. And then I will hand it off to Tim and he can talk.
Terminal.
Thank-
Before we move to the
thank you.
terminal, quick parking lot question, how many spaces will we have and what type of a loss are we looking at?
When it's all said and done,
No.
Right now?
With, during this construction phase that we're moving into.
I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry, Carl.
Whitney's got
So
that.
Maybe Whitney knows.
So we've asked the contractor to maintain us at or above 300 spaces.
Okay,
And it really is kind of a shuffle as we phase through the parking lot.
are we at 300 now or a little bit above?
I think we're well over 300 right now. And the ultimate configuration is 440.
Which is more than we've had, right?
Correct.
Correct.
And the temporary long-term that was constructed, it was 360.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
I got it. Thanks for this opportunity to share with you some progress on the terminal project, and we're making great strides to,
Is this done? Is this? is-
it's getting there. It's-
Where is that?
That's a
Yeah.
drone flight for
Right
today.
there.
So I wanted to show the site logistics plan because it's enhanced from last time we showed this a few months ago, where we were able to achieve that AOA fence relocation to allow that plane to park there now. So that was a big undertaking, a lot of planning to get that done, and huge milestone achieved. So this is a slide I showed about 4 months ago when I was here of all the different milestones, which we've achieved all that because we had no building structure up at that point. But we got the steel up, and I'm going to show just a caption here of the progress over the last 4 months. So the bottom left, you see where we were doing underground, getting the retaining walls, the structural walls. The second slide in the next month, getting the slab on grade at the concourse level. The third slide showing folks from MRY here and Kimberly Horn standing on that concrete slab, watching the first piece of the steel going in, to current day with the slab on deck being placed, half of it. And we're actually going to finish the slab on deck over the next 3 days here. So great progress. Now looking forward into the next 3 months past June, we'll have all the timber up. So the structure itself will now be seen in about 5 to 6 weeks from now.
Nice.
Which will be great. So big effort to finish off our slab on deck that I was speaking of, getting into July and into August will be the mass timber. That's a big undertaking. And we're going to be starting some slab on grade down below where all the baggage handling system is. In August, you'll start to see some exterior framing, and then September, we'll start to see what the skin system starts to look like. So a lot of work to take place over the next 3 months and a lot more contractors coming on board as well. So we'll show a couple drone flights from steel erection and the topping off ceremony that some of us in here were a part of.
No, not it.
So this happens really quick, just to show a few pieces going in of the steel.
Like a 6-second.
Yeah. The anticipation. There it is.
Well,
Yeah, it was very quick. And that's what it actually seemed like as well out there on a day-to-day basis. The crew was very effective, even with a postponement of the installation because the FAA had to re-review the permit. But once the crew got going, they got going. Here's just a 30-second video of what some of us saw on the topping out, getting the last beam in place. Great ceremony. And just a good celebration. And we will do one again when we get the mass timber and bring out the barbecue and have a nice celebration for that when that happens.
Is the tree still up?
No, you took it off right there.
Yeah, we had to take that down.
Will that beam ever be like exposed? Can anyone ever like crawl up in the rafters and see that, or is that gonna get covered with something? Or?
It will be covered. Yeah, that's at the clear story, which gets covered with metal panel up there.
Okay.
You'll know it's there, Jim.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the important piece.
Anything else to the PowerPoint?
I'm trying to remember if there was one other slide I may have had.
Nope, that was it.
Nope, that was it. So,
But Tim, once you get the, it wrapped or whatever you call that, are you pretty bulletproof for weather?
yeah, and in a sense, there's 3 skin systems. I have some plaster underneath, but the primary system is a glazing system and a metal panel system. So not all the metal panel has to be in place because I still have a weather barrier. So when you see glass and you see the covering of the waterproofing, then I'm watertight, and then the roof goes on as well.
When do you anticipate that?
So by the end of summer, we should be weather tight in preparation for the winter, have no impacts for the work that needs to progress inside.
The reason I asked, I'm reading all the stuff about El Nino.
Yes.
And I moved here in 1982 and it started raining on September 15th of 1982. And I mean, I was brand new and everybody went, oh, it never rains in September. And it rained all the way till, July of the next year. So, that's why I was like, to me, the clock is so tight on this because if
Yeah.
we get another one like that, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and we put measures into place to keep an eye on that, where we're prepared to cover areas, get roof covered up as well, so we don't trap water in as well as we're actually progressing with work. So,
Good.
yeah. Any other questions?
Jonathan?
Tim, I don't know if this question is appropriate for you or for Chris. I'm sure that you all have, OAC regular standing meetings where you're looking at timelines and man hours utilization and all of that. I'd be curious in seeing some of that type of information to be able to follow along with the project. I don't know if there are reports that are generated that would be at an executive dashboard level that could be shared with us, but that is something that I'd be interested in seeing.
I can look and see if there's anything on that level or not.
Okay. I'm also happy to dive into the weeds if it doesn't exist.
Not a board place.
You're welcome to leave the board. Get a contract.
Just for visibility only.
Yes.
Visibility only.
We might have another project.
Just for
for you.
visibility only.
John,
None. That was great.
Carl,
No questions, thank you.
thanks a lot, you guys. Really appreciate it.
Good job.
Yeah, good stuff.
There's a retired big project guy here in the community, and he texts me about once a week, and he's your fan.
Yeah, you have quite a.
And he
fan
wasn't
base.
when we hired you, so you have convinced him.
Thanks for coming. Take care.
And I mean, to add just some testimonial onto that. I
Yeah.
mean, as I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
I was telling Marianne earlier today that I talked to this guy who follows this very, very closely. He's now calling it my airport. He's how's my airport? Like he's taking
Love it.
ownership. I know, totally.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Great work, Chris. Thank you.
I also just wanted to share for the board. So my brother flew out of Monterey 2 weeks ago. He was taking the flight to San Francisco and then out to Hawaii. And he was sharing, he's like, I got something good for you guys. You need a shuttle system for the parking lot to get from the parking lot to the terminal.
That's right.
He has kids and he was lugging car seats, like running through the parking lot to get here. And I was like, I got good news for you.
That's right.
So,
Mary Ann.
yeah.
They're pretty cute. They're parked over there. I saw them when I left here, when I came in
Oh, I
for
haven't
lunch
seen 'em yet.
yesterday. They're parked on where you exit. So
Cool. Nice.
they look deluxe model.
There you go. All right. On to the next agenda item, item G2, resolution number 1934.
So you have in front of you, we're going to tag team on this one to answer any questions. Scott
Okay.
has an answer, Dan will answer, and Whitney will answer some if you want. So part of one of the as we were working through all of the details with Pencil Phelps on components, especially for the common use system, it became clear that really we needed to have that contract because we are the ones that are going to provide the information. It is going to be our backbone for the airlines, checking people in, for the airlines, getting people onto the aircraft, so that we needed to really be engaged with this contractor from day one, right from the beginning. So we're asking to take over that contract directly with AeroCloud Systems. It will be a deductive change order to Pencil Phelps, which you see that on the back end. So for the amount that we're going to spend doing it directly, it will come off of the GMP. So it doesn't change the cost of the project at all. It just changes the fact that we will then have that contract to be able to make sure that the system, we understand it, we understand how it's installed, we understand what the backbone looks like, because it really will be the crux of how we move passengers throughout the building. So with that, you have in front of you a contract request with AeroCloud Information Technology Services to install that common use system or the common use terminal equipment, or CUTE, which includes our electronic flight information display systems, our universal passenger processing system, and the common use self-service system. So remembering that when they come and check in, that will be the common use self-service system, where they will either, the airlines will have the technology to log in and their information comes up on the screen. They have the information for their flight. We will have the common use kiosks that a passenger can go and say, I'm flying on United, I'm checking in for that flight. Then the Universal Passenger Processing System, the gate side, how they will get people onto, again, scanning their tickets when they get ready to get on that aircraft. So that is a similar system, but different. So they're all similar, but different components of the system. So it will provide us with operational continuity. And that's really fundamental to the transition, is that we really can understand this and can make sure that the system does and is where we want it to be. So with that, you'll see that it's a contract scope of services for high 517,920. We've outlined with a couple questions came out of, and it wasn't exactly clear when we presented to finance. So we've outlined how those are, the hardware and shipping.
Right.
The implementation services and the subscription services are all right there. And with that, we will answer any questions you might have, because I think there probably are a couple. Staff here to help with that.
Great, thank you. Marianne, I'll start with you.
We had a couple of questions in budget and finance, and one was, is that going to tie into the existing bids that we have up at the restaurant? So people come in here early to go and have a drink or dinner up here, and then they're going to walk over to the new terminal. Will this still have all the information through the system?
The capability is there, yes. It's simply just a remote feed of what's in the replacement terminal.
Okay,
So
but
yes.
it's not going to cost us anymore. It's in this contract.
It is not in this contract. It would be an additional monitor and an additional license, so to
Okay,
speak.
that's what we were asking.
Yes.
Was that in this contract?
But the monitors we have can be used.
Yes.
So it's not that we would need a new monitor. It would just be the license, but the licenses are when you go over 5. So if you look at the component of it, so. But yes, it's doable. And part of it also is that it will be able to link to our website, because we show live information there, as well as our app, which we show live information there as well.
So we can use existing equipment that's here.
Mhm.
So the only additional cost that we're going to have on top of this is just the connection
And the like, yes.
and the licensing. Okay, that was one question we had. And then, the second question was when I read this and they're on UK time, and it said like an incident, they can take up to 10 days to get back to us on UK time. And that gives you about 3 hours of working time here to correspond with their time. So what's the answer?
Yeah, we got clarification on that. There's a follow the sun model. So there are multiple call centers. There's one in the US, there's one in the Philippines, and there is one in the UK. So they will be able to cover us 24/7, our hours of operation for the building, if we have any tech support needs.
And that one place, Marion, where it had that piece, that was removed. So where
Okay.
it had just those, that was removed from what you see in front of
Okay,
you.
that makes me feel better, because I was like,
Awesome.
I just was there. That's kind of hard to,
Yeah,
when you've got an 8 to 5 staff and you've got about 22 minutes you can talk to them a day.
Yeah, it had conflicting information. It had the follow the sun model in one other place, but it had something else in that one place. So that piece was removed.
Okay, well, sorry. Sometimes I
thank
don't
you
read
for
it all,
finding it.
sometimes I do. Let's see, do I have anything? No, I think that's all I had. And I mean, it makes perfectly good sense. We're gonna have the ongoing contract. We're gonna have to work with that equipment. So to me, it makes sense that we're the ones that are there when it's installed and understand it and know what we have, so. Okay, I'm good.
thank you.
Hardware, we're purchasing 22 PCs and workstations and 22 monitors, but then we're putting 10 for check-in and 10 at the gates. So 2 PCs per gate. And then I'm guessing there will be 10 check-in desks,
5 positions, 2 monitors.
5 positions, 2 monitors, but we're purchasing 22 workstations.
So you have workstations at the land side and you'll have workstations at the gate side. So we also have 5 gates.
And you have 2 positions at every gate as well.
Right. So let me back up. How many check-in desks are there going to be where there could be a staff member working?
5
Okay.
With 2
with 2 positions.
2
So
positions.
dual positions.
Dual positions, not dual monitors. Got it. Okay. Understood. How do we get to the 22? What are the other 2?
It's a 10% for failures that they include. So if something comes to us broken or damaged. we
Got
have
it.
Built-in spares.
And are these specialty systems or are these just
Like Samsung.
regular Dell, no, like the Dell i5.
They're usually they're a professional grade or a business grade, so they are different. Like the ones we have today here are not the ones you're going to go buy off the shelf typically from a store. They are a professional grade that have longer shelf life, are made to last and run 24/7. So it is different from what you normally would see.
So the airport could not buy these ourselves. These are only available to specific wholesalers like Arrow.
Primarily, yes.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. I did have a question about the contract scope of services that we're only contracting them with them for 1 year. Is that because if we don't like the service, we can get out of the contract and after a year and find a different vendor? I imagine that service fees are only going to increase year over year, and if we could lock in a longer term.
We've already locked in the terms. So if you look on page 15, they're there. So year 2 of service is there, year 3 of service is there. So we're locking in the terms. We're only paying for 1 year because we only need 1 year today. Second
Understood.
year will come in the budget in that year, and then will be part of operating cost.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. And then I read through their kind of technical support piece where they prioritize issues as either priority 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the response time varies based on those. And it seems like it's mostly virtual support. Are there circumstances where they would contract with local techs to come out? Do they have local people that would come out when
So
it can't be
essentially,
resolved virtually?
I would answer that question by saying their model is primarily virtual. However, they do have other airports in the state of California. So if there was some type of catastrophic failure, there are people who work on these systems that they'd be able to connect us with.
Okay.
And it's similar to how our FIDS is today as well. Most of it is virtual. Our team can troubleshoot. They can see it on the back end, so they can see what's going on the back end
Yeah.
on a screen that they're at. And they tell us what to do. If and that when that can't happen, then they send somebody. They have contract service that they send out.
So my last question, are these proprietary systems that only their technicians can work on, or are our airport staff getting training on these systems so that we can do some of the on-site technical support if we need, and we're not violating any kind of part of the
The latter.
warranty or contract or anything like that? Okay. Yeah, no, I think there's a ton of detail in all of this. And I do agree that it's way better for us to be the ones who own and manage the contract as opposed to Hensel Phelps. So
Great.
fully in support, and thank you for answering the questions.
Thank you.
I have two, but one was really just one out of interest. Since we weren't going to be doing it, were we just going to give the money to Hensel Phelps? So Hensel Phelps was going to basically put this thing in or have them put it in, and then is that
They were going to manage this installation for us, correct?
okay?
Initially.
And now, but this money would have been, the checks that would be written would have been going to Arrow anyway, right? Or would they have been going to Hensel and
They were
then?
going to Hensel Phelps, and Hensel Phelps would have paid them as a subcontractor.
Okay, all right. So that was one. That was just more out of interest. And the second thing is this going to be set up in a sandbox before so that, I mean, when's the space going to be ready to start actually putting this stuff in? Or are you guys going to just set it up in a room somewhere and then?
We wouldn't want it on site earlier than necessary for a number of reasons. One, it can get damaged.
Yeah.
Two, you start your warranty ahead
Okay.
as well too. So it will be timed to have it on site when we need it installed. That is the prime time to get it here. So
Is there any, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, you referred to it as the sandbox. They already have relationships with each of the airlines. So they already know that these systems work and can connect to their back
Okay.
ends. So they have that virtually built out already somewhere in the cloud. So when we get it, it's just infrastructure and then pulling it down from the cloud is how we'll
Is,
work.
is there any, pre-exposure that's not, I mean, not without hardware, but training up our local technicians or anything that they could be doing to kind of be utilizing virtual instances of this or something?
I'm sure there is. We'll get that implementation once we execute the contract.
Okay.
You know, and there are other California airports that are using this system. So, you know, that would be part of what we'll look at as this over the course of this next year is, do we send someone, you know, or a couple people to
Yeah.
an airport that's using it?
Yeah, yeah.
Talk through.
Right.
Part of the procurement, and our team was on the procurement. So while Hensel Phelps led it, our team also were part of the team that reviewed them because it was a best value, not the lowest cost. We wanted to make sure we got something that we knew we could work with and that other airports, especially airports our size,
Right.
had experience with. So it was a best value piece of it. So they've already, you know, started those conversations and have started to understand it in a lot more detail. So we'll be working through that as we get
Good.
closer. But first step is we need a contract.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Carl?
I think you've answered some of the questions I already had. That's the one drawback being on the end here.
Or not, or not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're right. But let me ask anyway, because I didn't hear specifically. So we were involved with the selection of this company? Okay, good. It wasn't just strictly Hensel Phelps' decision. And I heard that they are in use in other airports in our area. What airports are those?
Oakland, John Wayne, they're at Palm Springs, Bakersfield,
There are 6 in California. that
Okay.
we are at.
Sonoma.
Well, those are, yeah, well, Sonoma's pretty close to our size, other than Bakersfield, those are all good, not that anything wrong with Bakersfield, but it's a pretty small operation, as far as enplanements go. And air service, but those other ones are good. Okay, initially this was, Hansel Phelps, he's a contractor at risk, right? He's supposed to turn over a completed building with everything working. How does us pulling this out possibly affect that?
It shouldn't affect it. So, you know, again, we're deducting the cost of this component of it. They are still carrying a small portion of the cost. So this isn't the full line item that was on that one. This is the cost that were associated with what we're purchasing because they have a couple components that they still have to manage and maintain as it relates to the relationship.
He's got deadlines. If he doesn't meet those deadlines, there's penalties that are going to affect. But I would assume if we have problems with this system as far as going online, we take on that responsibility then, or does Hensel Phelps still have it?
We're taking on the responsibility of this getting to us on time and getting installed by doing this.
Having said that, we did also get an indemnification from the company itself that they will defend and indemnify the airport for any losses that.
Okay, that's good.
That are incurred. So it is an additional protection intended to cover that eventuality or something similar.
Yeah. Okay, well, I wasn't familiar with the company, but it sounds like you guys have done a good job selecting them and they're already established and have a working product. So yeah, I'm good with it. Thank you.
And as for me, as Mary Ann mentioned, we drilled down into this with staff during finance in pretty gory detail and appreciate all the answers to the questions then and now as well. So I think this is going to be fantastic. All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I would move that we adopt resolution number 1934, a resolution authorizing a contract with AeroCloud Systems, Inc. for the replacement terminal common use information technology systems and services.
Thank you.
Sec,
John Gagliardi seconds. Any further discussion on the roll call, please?
Director Amati,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi.
Aye.
Director Leffel.
Yes.
Director Miller,
yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes, thank you. Passes unanimously. Item G3, resolution number 1935.
Dan's gonna take this one for me.
Okay, over to you, Dan.
Great, so this one's a little bit of bittersweet because we started this safety enhancement project 8 years ago, construction. This is the final piece of that puzzle. So before you for resolution 1935 is to authorize a contract with CNS for the design of the eventual taxiway alpha shift, the canary in the coal mine, if you will, of why we're doing all this. And so just as a background, per FAA requirements, we issued an RFQ for engineering on call design. In March of 2023, CNS was one of the companies that responded, and through the evaluation, they were selected as the primary or the first one, and they are the ones that also did the commercial ramp. And so they are well qualified to do the effectively alpha redesign or shift south so that we can achieve what we need to do with the FAA. And so we're here to ask for approval to the contract in the amount of $485,885 so that we can authorize CMS to begin design work and have that ready to go. So once we move into the new building, they can start construction sometime next year.
And I would add to you, this timing allows us to then have them finish design, get ready to go out to bids, that we have bids in hand, time for an FAA process, which they keep moving up every year and making it tighter and tighter. So really moving on this one now is really critical so that we can have our bids in hand in time for a grant next fiscal year so that we can move this along, as Dan said, right after this building.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Carl?
You
This
go
is,
first.
yeah, that's great. So yeah, this is separate from the terminal project and Phelps have nothing to do with this, correct?
Correct.
Ansel Phelps?
Hansel Phelps has nothing to do with this. We're gonna be managing this on our own.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
But
I,
yes.
I think we're up to it. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carl. John? Ask my question.
Yeah, damn.
I don't
Polly
have
first.
No, I have no questions on this one. This is what we're all about.
Yeah, full circle. Jonathan?
My only question was just, what is the work that's going to be done to reconstruct the stormwater basin?
So as part of the new state water board requirements,
Yeah,
they have not only implemented the pollution levels, it's also water quality.
Mm.
And so if you remember that we have a detention pond on the north side
Hmm.
of the airport. And fortunately, we were able to get the water board to agree that they looked at every project as a whole as opposed to individual projects. Because otherwise we'd have to do water quality elements for the terminal, for the GA apron, the fire station. So we were able to persuade them and could tell them that everything, this is all a snowball effect. And it would have added time, costs, everything if we had to do a water quality for every single phase of the project. So they agreed. So now this will allow us to meet those requirements as what we're calling a global solution because of the terrain that most of our runoff does occur on the north side. And that detention pond was never designed because for the new requirements, because that was done back in the 70s, I believe.
okay.
And so now we're going to bring that up to current requirements and standards.
Got it. That was my only questions. Out of curiosity.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. I think this is the reason we started this whole adventure.
Yes.
So great to finally get here. Thank you.
I'll move that we adopt resolution number 1935, a resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with CNS companies to provide design services for the safety enhancement program, Taxiway A realignment phase E1.
Okay, got a first.
Second.
Carl seconds. I know there's no public here, but let me just not miss my muscle memory. Any public comment on the item? Seeing no public in the room, no public online, we'll close public comment. And bring it to a roll call vote, please.
Director Amati,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi.
Aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes. Thank you. Passes unanimously. On to item G4, pass to print ordinance number 936, first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before you is an item that is a proposed ordinance to repeal certain inactive ordinances. As we had gone about this previously, and we decided to postpone it until now. There are certain inactive ordinances that concern one-time land and easement transactions. Typically, the board in the 1960s, 70s would enact ordinances that would approve a land transaction or a long-term lease. All of those transactions are either finalized, they've been recorded, or they're otherwise fully implemented. They're completed, implemented, or they've been recorded. There's a memorandum of them having been recorded. So what we've got is a list of those ordinances that we would recommend that you repeal. Important to note, this does not repeal any action related to the approval of a lease or an easement. Those easements are recorded, the leases are recorded. For example, lease from Monterey Jet Center is recorded so that it's there, it's a public document. So we're not invalidating anything by removing these specific ordinances. This is simply as a cleanup process so that we don't have to continue to track these as live ordinances. And make it easier for the public when they want to go find something. They don't have to wade through a laundry list of ordinances that have subsequently just don't have any value but are still there. So they can go right to what they're looking for. So staff recommends that we repeal these inactive ordinances. Again, this is the first category of them that we're dealing with. There will be other categories coming later, but this one is related to land transactions or easements or long-term leases. Oh, I'm sorry, not leases. I thought there were some leases that are done. Okay. Scratch that, not leases. Land transactions or the receipt of easements. And those have been recorded. I will note that many of these we do keep track of these. Some of them are related to utility easements, some of them are navigation easements. We do keep track of these by APN, and they have been, again, these have been recorded. So we're not invalidating. Happy to answer any questions that you may have, but that's the ordinance and staff recommends repealing those.
Thank you. So I'm going to lead off on this one just because I'm tickled. And my city manager in me just can't help but be happy. So I don't understand, and we don't need an answer to the question why there was an ordinance in the first place for these actions, but there shouldn't have been, in my view. The fact that we are repealing 4 pages worth of useless ordinances is fantastic in terms of simplifying our code and helping the public understand our, right? Because ultimately it's about accessibility to the rules and policies and laws of any jurisdiction that the public should be able to understand readily. So this is fantastic. The other point I'd make here is that in addition to it being recorded as an easement with the relevant filing with the assessor's office and so on, it's also recorded in minute action. Right?
Correct.
So even though we repeal these ordinances, it does not remove it from the institutional memory of the district.
That's correct. In fact, the ordinance that will repeal them specifically says that. It says we're not invalidating the underlying actions. We're not giving back property by virtue of doing this. Status quo, it's just a bookkeeping, paperwork cleanup.
Now, this is fantastic. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Yeah.
I totally agree with these. I'm just kind of curious, what are we gonna do with our numbering then? We're gonna get rid of 1,000 ordinance numbers. What do we start with ordinance? The next ordinance.
So we use ordinance numbers one time.
Okay.
So for example, if there were a new ordinance that were to come up, the
Yeah.
next ordinance is 900s, 930, 40, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So we use ordinance numbers one time and we don't reuse them, we don't recycle them to keep things clear. We will, obviously there will be the historical memory of these, they just won't be active ordinances on the website.
Okay. It was more just a curiosity. Yeah. I have, yeah. I have, no question. Carl?
God, I hate to get rid of ordinance number 1, you know.
Nostalgia?
Yeah, well, look, April 10th, 1941,
Keep that one?
the very first
the
ordinance
minutes.
that we ever did here. And I guess we end this in 2005, right before I came on the board. So I had no hand in any of these, so I have no problem getting rid of them.
Great.
Except for number 1, I don't know. That sort of creates us, doesn't it? That was the ordinance that set aside our boundaries.
It was the acquisition of certain properties, and I'm gonna read just the last few words of it. Relating to the Monterey Municipal Airport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was known as the Monterey Municipal Airport before we took it over. Okay, yeah, kill them. That's okay. I'll cry a tear tonight over a nice glass of wine.
By removing these, by repealing these ordinances, what operational impact does it have on the airport?
None.
What
None.
budgetary impact does it have on the airport?
None.
Environmental?
None.
Okay. I did have a quick question though. There on page 4, listing all the ordinances, there's a whole series, 742, 49, 62, 801, 838, 45, 50, 869, and 870. Ordinances authorizing and approving the noise installation agreements and navigation easements executed by homeowners. What were those about?
Those were the residential soundproofing improvement program. So,
Mostly Kona.
yeah, FAA provided us funding, $20 million
Mhm.
to soundproof homes that were within the 65, within a certain CNEL. And so those participants were required to sign a navigation easement if they wanted to participate in the
Okay.
program.
The layman, in layman's terms, what would happen is they would agree to get updated insulation, updated windows, but in exchange, they had to give a navigation easement to the airport.
So were there only 9 properties that
No,
chose to do that?
phases.
But they were grouped. Got
There
it.
were groups.
Understood.
There were 950 something properties.
And if a member of the public wanted to, for example, find a copy of ordinance 749, after we take this action, how would they go about doing that?
Well, it will likely be on the website under inactive ordinances, but we will always have a copy of it here if they need to get it.
But they should also have a copy of that, their own navigation easement, because that runs with the deed of their property.
Correct.
It would,
Mhm. Yep.
that's correct.
Not necessarily the homeowner, but like anyone in the public.
Somebody else,
to be
yeah,
able to
yeah,
get access
right,
to it.
right.
No, I've got anything.
Okay, great. So we'll open it to public comment, seeing no public here or online. Comment and take a motion.
I would move that we pass to print ordinance number 936, first reading, to repeal inactive ordinances that represent one-time land and easement transactions already on record.
You second. John seconds.
One of these days, I'm gonna sneak a motion, right?
Not gonna happen, John.
One of these days, I'm just.
One of these days. Gotta be quick. Gotta be quick.
Nobody moves.
All right. Roll call, please.
Director Amati,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi,
Aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes, thank you. Passes unanimously. It'll be back for a second reading next meeting, right? Okay. Item G5, updated employee handbook.
So yes, in front of you, and we talked about this during budget process, that we would be, once we went through the staffing analysis, the reorganization of how we were doing compensation, that we would be updating our handbook with a number of things. And because we also had a new HR team on board, and it had been quite a few years since we had looked at our handbook. So in front of you, you have an updated handbook, which is an employee handbook and personnel policy manual. So it's a little bit different from How it was before it was more of a traditional policy manual, but this really has comprehensive employee information that's clear guidance to employees, supervisors, and management. So the key changes included are in the staff report. So it is a reorganization covering recruitment, probation, performance management, compensation, benefits, leave, discipline, grievances, and reductions in force. It's also an expansion of the workplace conduct policies to meet new laws that have come out over the last few years, or as well as we talked about this in AI policy. Creation of detailed personnel administration sections addressing recruitment and appointments, transfers, promotions. So it's very clear to staff and to management how those are assigned. A consolidation and clarification of probationary employment provisions, development of a dedicated compensation chapter, separating personnel actions from pay administration. Also expansion and modernization of leave provisions. And significant, again, a lot of that has changed over the last few years in our handbook to meet state policies. Significant enhancements on disciplinary and appeal procedures. Addition of a formal grievance procedure and improved consistency with current California public sector employment practices and statutory requirements, but reserving in the district's operational flexibility and management rights. So overall, it's a transition, as I said, from a traditional policy manual to really an employee handbook with the policies in it so that it's clear for everyone. And we have a place to go to, and we have something we can work through. And with that, we'll answer any questions, but both CPSHR Consulting worked on it, as well as Dave Ritchie reviewed it in detail with Scott. So they also had input into it too. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
I had one question, and it was on the grievance section because we went through this. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. There was I thought we had put in there that there was a way that if an employee had a grievance against the executive director, that there was a paragraph in there that they did have a way to come to the board through our attorney. And I did not see that in here. It looked like everything stopped right with, you go to the executive director, they've got the last say, and that's it. So I thought we had something in there that
In case of termination or anything.
no, if someone
It was
has
a
a problem
grievance.
with our executive
Yeah,
director
right,
and the
right.
executive director is the last word, who do
Mhm,
they go to
mhm.
and how do they do it?
That's,
I thought we lined
re-
that out, so
I remember that clearly, yeah.
would understand it.
Excuse me, there should be, it should be delineated as to who they file it, as to how they file it. And so we will add that in.
Well, it's never gonna happen again, right?
We can go back and find that language and add it back into here.
Okay, yeah,
So if you approve it, we'll.
I mean, it
approve
was
adding that
like
language.
2 or 3 months of working on it, so I think it needs to be. That's the only thing I saw that. That was just because I accidentally opened it. It didn't read the rest.
Well, I first want to commend and thank you for putting this together. This is enormous amount of work, and I think transparency for employees is always the best practice. The only question that I had, I know that, the salary ranges are things that the board passes, and so it doesn't make sense to include it in an employee handbook. But how would employees find out what the salary range is for any of the different positions at the airport? Is that something where they would just reach out to their HR contact and they could make that request?
We post those. So once.
They're posted on the
They're
website.
posted on our website.
Okay.
They're given to all staff. So
Perfect.
once they're done, it's in our budget book and they're posted on our website.
The other question that I had, you're going to be shocked to learn, is on the AI section. Was it 51 or 41? Start. 48. I really appreciate the hardline stance that's being taken on AI in order to protect the airport and protect the information that is proprietary and private for the airport. My only question is whether or not the language of what we're doing to define AI and prohibiting the use of those systems is too expansive. I mean, just as an example, if I were to go on Google and put in any question, the very first response is an AI generated response. And it doesn't seem like this would exclude that. And just by utilizing Google, or I'm sure at this point AI is being integrated into Google Maps and other tools and things like that. I wonder if the policy needs to have specific carve-outs or just be a little bit more flexible to avoid a situation where somebody used Google and didn't realize, like, hey, I've used an AI tool unknowingly.
So, again, it's reviewed not only by CPS, but by legal
Huh.
and by our technology people too. So
Okay.
the idea is that we would then have a standard operating procedure
Okay.
that will follow this. So this is the policy.
Yeah.
And now, and that's the same with the number that we have going.
Member of the public complaining, Mr. Chair.
That's AI.
That's it, yeah.
That's AI. You pissed off the AI. John.
I'm trying to advocate for it.
It's similar with the number, we wanted to keep things broad so that then we can go in and have flexible standard operating procedures behind these. So it's a stance that says with the executive director approval. So that will come then with or an authorized designee in consultation with other appropriate departments. So we'll be working with our IT department to put that together. So
And identify what are approved utilizations and
So there are two
Yep.
schools of thought on how to do this. One is you say nothing is allowed unless it's specifically in this list that you can use it for.
right,
The other school of thought is the reverse. Everything is allowed except for these areas that we prohibit.
right.
That's what this policy is, right? You'll notice it says,
Well, this is the first, right? Everything is prohibited except what we allow.
no, it says under prohibited uses, unless expressly authorized in writing, employees are prohibited from using AI technologies for any of the following purposes. So this is saying for these, you can't use it in these areas, but you can use it in others, right? So let me give you an example. You would not, an employee would not be able to go in and say, and I'm gonna take it outside of function, an HR employee, if there were one here, if you had a dedicated HR person, they couldn't go in and say, can we terminate X employee for this activity? Right, that would be prohibited because it is specifically prohibited on this list. You would be able to use it for, hey, does Google Maps have the inside of the airport, for people to navigate from one terminal to the other? Which, by the way, if you haven't seen that, some airports have it. It's really cool.
Yeah. I guess just to push back, doesn't it say district employees are prohibited from using AI technologies for district business unless the specific platform and intended use have been expressly reviewed and approved? So everything is denied unless it's already been approved.
except for one that says. So then you already have those identified.
Tell me what that language is that you just read.
So it's on page 49. It's the third paragraph. District employees are prohibited from using AI technologies, which are defined in the third paragraph, unless the specific platform and intended use have been expressly reviewed and approved in writing.
How I read that, as you just read it, how I read that is because we have, for example, you know, come on, Microsoft Office.
It has Copilot.
There's Copilot is built into that.
Right.
That's been authorized for use because you have a license for it.
If we specifically said Copilot could be used for these purposes.
By purchasing it, you have said you can use it, right? That's where you get into, then you follow down into so let me give an example of what would not be okay. You would not be able to say, hey, I want to have my own subscription to ChatGPT and I plug in my username and password. That hasn't been approved, right? What has been purchased by the airport has been approved necessarily.
I guess I push back, Scott. It says intended use also. It says platform and use have been approved.
Jonathan, what are you suggesting?
Well, I guess my concern is that we have,
Being overly prescriptive?
yeah, created a structure in which employees could unintentionally run foul of a policy, not intending to, and have that end up in a situation.
So I'm sensitive to that, and that's not what we're intending.
Yeah.
in This language. So we'll massage this language
Thank you.
so that an employee does not unintentionally fall into a violation of the policy just because they're at work doing, something.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And I looked at that. The one I see the most would be like Amanda, who's doing social media and doing things to advertise us and make it look snappy and cute. That little thing with the cars going in and out that you said Kimley Horn did. I mean, could our staff use that? I don't know, but it just this is all new. I mean, this is like I get it.
I think I understand. I'm pretty sure I understand what you're saying, Scott. And I think that paragraph that begins district employees are prohibited can be tweaked to be a little bit more clear.
Thank you. That's all I was trying to get to the root of.
Perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Chair.
So my only input on this is as it relates to the issue of bringing things to the board. I mean, there is always the case that if someone feels grieved, they can approach you and you can approach us.
That's
Like,
correct.
like this doesn't prohibit that from happening.
It doesn't.
What I'm concerned about any language being added to the policy manual that specifically gives a pathway to the board for disciplinary actions is it undercuts the executive director and it establishes that she's not the top or whoever is in that saddle is not at the top of the organization. What I've seen done in the past, and it worked, is that only in cases of termination could an employee appeal through a written process to the board prior to a final decision being levied post Skelly hearing and all of that. I'd be comfortable with something like that. But I don't want it to be so, my opinion on the matter is that I wouldn't want the pathway to the board to be so broad that, any issue of aggrievement has a pathway to be getting agendized and brought to the board. So I just would like to voice that for consideration.
There is an appeals section. I'm not sure if that.
There is, I read it. It does not allow for appeal to the board. It can, in the case of termination, would be my recommendation. And again, I think someone is truly feeling mistreated, they can go to the attorney. They can go straight to the board, frankly. I mean, that's not precluded, but I don't want to create a policy that says the last step in the disciplinary process is the board. I don't think that's where we want to go, so.
And I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood what Marianne was saying. I thought that the addition that she was recommending was that only in the circumstance where the employee has a
Grievance with the executive.
grievance with the executive director, that there could be a pathway for that to come forward to the board, and that's only a very narrow circumstance.
Why can't they do that anyway?
Well, they can. They can. There's nothing that prohibits that because the procedure to make those grievances is not really cleanly defined here. And I understood that the same way, right? That it was, if someone is saying, hey, I have a grievance with the executive director, how could I go to my department head about that when the department head is also
Working for the executive
working for the
director.
Executive director. So in that instance, they ought to be able to come to me to then outline that. And then in my purview, if it rises to that level, then I bring it to the board for your review.
That could be added to the grievance section,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yep.
sure.
That's what I was asking.
Okay, yeah, I would just go,
You wanna
I would
throttle.
go light there.
Yeah, right.
I would
yeah.
go light there.
Yes.
I mean, but
Because it's undercutting authority,
it is.
straight up.
But it was born out of an extreme it was born out of an extreme case.
I understand.
Yeah.
I
right.
get it.
So I guess then to use it should be an extreme case. And I think that's the throttle, Scott's the throttle you're looking for, right?
That's why I wouldn't have them bring it to the board. I would have them bring it to me.
Yeah,
You.
right.
Right.
And then you determine, are you,
Correct.
Other than that, great work.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Are we gonna have an opportunity to comment? On this end, we haven't.
Oh,
Oh, I said, I spoke for you because you were at the end.
Carl, over to you.
Okay, I spent some time looking at this. I didn't read everything, but the ones that, I think it's very well organized and put out. It's a good example. To get what you were talking about, when I first came on the board, that was actually written into our policy. And after we did a couple of those hearings, we, as a board, decided we never, ever, ever want to do that again. And then we gave the instruction to pretty much what we have now, where there's an arbitrator that's hired to mediate that. And then there is a method to appeal that, but that doesn't go before us, does it?
No, I'd have to look. My recollection is that it goes
To the
to the arbitrator.
To the arbitrator, yes. So you had an opportunity to look over all of this, right?
Yes,
And the HR looked over it, right?
correct.
What about our auditors? Did they have any input? Because we do have some policies there as far as credit card usage. They expressed some concern when we've had audits in the past.
We put all that in our finance policy. So that's in the finance policy that the auditors have, the credit card.
Have we looked at the finance policies, which was based on, I guess, the auditor's recommendations, to make sure we have no conflicts with the stuff written here?
If I may. So the auditors they did their interim procedures work a couple of weeks ago. One of the things they asked for was our policy and procedure manual. And I told them that we had one in the works, and I have a couple of days ago, I gave them, so this was an open item, and I have provided this to them. So
So you gave them a copy of this
yes,
one right here?
yeah, so they will have the opportunity to review and evaluate that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So for example, I think they wanted to know our formal capitalization policy. I mean,
Mhm.
that's in the finance and accounting manual. So they also want to know what the procedures and policies are as to
Yeah.
employees. So
And
that's
one
been
concern
provided.
that I would have is if we do have these other manuals that are supposed to direct us, that we make sure that there's no conflict between those and this. Okay. Okay, very good. Not lastly, who's responsible for maintaining, updating this on a regular basis, reviewing it?
HR will be.
HR would be, okay. But I assume, when there's changes in law or something, our legal department will
Yeah,
let
any
us know.
Any changes that they make or any updates that they make, they'll provide to us. We'll look them over before they're done.
I didn't see anything here on the whistleblower. If we.
There is,
There is? I didn't see that. Where is that?
I don't know, I saw it
Yeah, I
numbered
didn't
on
either.
here. I didn't read it. It's number 4.12.
4?
4.12.
Page 45,
Okay.
Carl, page 45.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to look at that, but I'm glad we have it in there. So, good. Maybe that's where we want to put this, thing about going to our, lawyer. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
all I have. Thank you.
You bet.
It was a good job.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, so, we do recommend that the board approve this. We will bring back for your review, section 5.02 and 16.00. Only those two sections will bring back everything. We recommend you approve everything else.
Great. All right. We'll open it for public comment. No public in the room or online. We'll close public comment and entertain a motion.
I would move that we adopt the Employee Handbook Personnel Policy Manual, June 2026, with the 2 items that we have called out for revision.
Denise, you got that? You good? Okay. Okay. Is there
For a second.
a second?
I'll second.
Carl seconds. Roll call, please.
Director Amati,
Yes.
Director Gagliardi,
Yeah, aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes,
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes. Thank you. Great work. All right, on to item G6, California Special Districts Association Board of Directors ballot selection.
Who's taking this one?
Well, you have in front of you, sorry.
Okay,
CSDA's ballot
right.
selection, so looking for input on how to vote as a district.
So what is the mechanism here? Do we have choices about how we vote, or is it a,
You have 4 people, and you get to choose one.
okay? And we select them as a board or vote individually?
No, you,
Yeah,
you
he's
get
a
one
board.
vote
You
as a
get-
district.
As a
One
district.
vote.
Yeah.
yeah, you get one vote. What they do is they have a rotating board. So right now, it looks like you, in your network, in your CC, which is the coastal network, you have one board member that is up.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and there are 4 who are wanting to fill that one spot.
Got it.
So
Okay.
much like on election day where you get to vote for one candidate.
Yeah.
You get to vote for one candidate.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, we'll open it up to the board for comments on the 4 candidates. Jonathan.
We all know Vince. I think there are 2 candidates who are local, Vince being one of them and knows the issues pretty well. He cares a lot about CSDA, and you can clearly see that, and he spends a lot of time invested in special district issues, and I hope that we would support Vince for reelection.
Thank you. Mary Ann?
I was a little torn because I think that Jackie McMillan
Yeah.
has a really, really, really strong background in government and in issues, and there are a lot of issues with special districts that I think CSDA has not been paying any attention to. So, I was torn. We do all know Vince
Yep.
and he loves to go to Sacramento and he loves to, go around the country and talk about special districts. So that's what I'll say.
Okay. John?
I'm definitely behind Jacqueline. When I was reading up, in her back, well, I know Vince and that's frankly, I was just looking at those two.
Mhm.
And I would be leaning towards Jacqueline, if for no other reason to give, somebody else the opportunity to do this.
Okay.
That's it.
Got it. Carl?
Yeah, I'm behind Vince. I looked at Jacqueline too, but you said there was somebody else who was local. Who's the other local person?
Well, Jackie's got 4 years with CMWD, which is more local and than any of the other candidates, right? The other one is Ojai and then Maisha.
Walla.
Yeah. So, you know, the challenge with Jackie is that all of her civic and nonprofit organizations are Ventura, right? Ventura County Women in Ag, West Ventura County Business Association of Water Agencies of Ventura County, Simi Valley Chamber. They're all Southern California.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, he's done it for years. He used to be the president of the organization. So, I'm behind Vince, as long as he wants to do it, he has my vote.
Okay. So, for my part, I know Vince seems knowledgeable, old hand at it, local. I don't know the others other than reading what was there, and I appreciate learning about Jackie. Yeah, I mean, I'd be inclined to go with Vince, but I'm intrigued by Jackie.
Yeah.
We
I mean, I'd like to make another plug for Jackie and just
Yep.
that, I mean, you've been in those updates. I mean, it's time. I mean, it's time for Vince to hang out here and
yeah.
give someone else the reins.
so is your vote an endorsement of do you know
Yes.
Jackie?
No, I don't know. The only person that I personally know is Vince.
It's more of a no vote than a yes vote.
Well, it's my vote. What I'm saying is that I have experience with Vince.
Yeah.
And Jackie seems like that would be an interesting change. And maybe a more brief update change. Brevity, an opportunity to basically really, I mean, to me, quite frankly, I mean, sometimes I just wonder why Vince he goes into the things that he goes into, right? And it's almost like he's filling up the book or, whatever, it makes the report that thick. And it can be a waste of time.
You mind if I offer just a brief rebuttal to
Yeah.
that? I mean, I think Vince has no ulterior motives other than loving CSDA. And I recognize that sometimes his reports can feel tedious,
Yes.
but I appreciate the fact that I know in Vince, I have somebody in that seat who knows the community, knows the area, and I think it just feels like his whole life at this point. And that's something that I frankly want in the board of directors for CSDA is somebody who just bleeds CSDA, which is Vince.
Okay. Marianne, anything else?
Can I comment?
Yes.
also? I don't know these other people. I don't think anybody on our board knows the other people. It'd be great if somebody, appeared, remotely, here to give their presentation.
Yeah.
Vince has some real competition. He's got 4 people. He may not get it, but, for local harmony,
Yeah.
I hear everything you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but It's not like he's governor of California, or something like that.
You might think he would be. I mean,
Okay, I'll move that we cast our ballot for Vince Ferranti.
Second. Okay, first and a second. Roll call, please.
Director Marty,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi,
no.
Director Leffel,
Yes,
Director Miller,
Yes.
and Chair Pick.
And yes. Okay,
and I'm going to say one thing on this. I agree that if these people cared, they could have zoomed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
totally. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's a very fair point. But Vince isn't here either.
True.
So,
okay. Thanks, everybody. Item G7, resolution number 1917A.
So you, at the last meeting, we were asked, staff was asked to come back and look at potentially modifying board meetings. Our recommendation is not to change at this time the meeting date or time of the month, but to just move up the time by 1 hour to 4:30. I think it accomplishes what I think with the concerns of the board is staff time. So by us moving it up an hour, it gives us a little bit more flexibility. Maybe people will come. It's not right in the middle of dinner time. So maybe they'll decide that 4:30 is better than 5:30. Not sure, but that's our recommendation.
Thank you.
And if I may,
Please.
I mean, we talked initially that if we had a special meeting, closed session, that we would start at 4:30. We said that. So it seems that if we would just start our meetings at 4:30, that we can move through things, because unfortunately, a lot of the social events that we want to attend to represent the airport in the community are on Thursday nights. And we have a direct conflict with that. And there are some council meetings that are on Thursday night, and we cannot get to them, even if there's some issue that involves our airport or something else that we're working on. So I support that 100%. And I also would like to say that we also then probably should right now choose what we want to do with November and December.
It's the next.
That's the next item.
Okay, but in the whole
Yep.
discussion. So anyway, I would move that we take the staff recommendation and move to 4:30 start.
Okay, so there's a motion. We can get a second and then discuss.
Second.
Second for discussion. Any other discussion? Okay,
I am. gonna
Yeah,
say
I'm good
one
with
more thing.
4:30.
It also then gives the staff an opportunity that if we have a short agenda, that they're out pretty much
Yeah.
on a working time. And we're not paying overtime and comp time and having people tired the next day.
well, that's good. Roll call, please.
Director Marty,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi,
Aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes,
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes, thank you. Passes unanimously. Item G8, calendar the November and December board meetings. So we knew this was coming based on the holiday period. Our normal Thursday in November would be Thanksgiving weekend. And in December, we've traditionally moved the meeting or not had it.
Yeah, or not.
so we'd either be Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Eve if we left it where we are.
Yep. Let's not do that. So, what's your pleasure? Or is there any feedback from staff before we start
So,
looking it around?
yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about the military lounge. So you usually set it up around the, 15th, 16th, something like that?
Yes, normally they will start traveling around that time, usually, and NPS gets out before DLI. DLI, I believe, is going to be 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere in that way. So we usually do open it up around Tuesday of the week, 15th.
It's around the 15th. So if
You wanna
we,
Start with December or no?
well, I think we should go both months of whatever day, if we choose like
Oh,
the,
stay consistent.
yeah, the
Gotcha.
second
Okay.
Wednesday or second Thursday. So
Okay. So what if we did the second Thursday of both months?
December 10th.
December 10th and November 12th.
It'll be right after a holiday, the 12th, but
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is the day before, but that's okay.
That's the worst reason. I think we're okay. Do you think we're okay?
Yeah, because we're at 4:30 in the afternoon. They've got time to get in and all
Whatever
day
they
to
need.
get whatever they
Yeah.
have to do.
Okay. Team? Anybody not, does that not work for anybody?
What day? was-
November
12th,
12th.
Thursday, November 12th, and Thursday, December 10th. Second Thursday of,
Yeah, I don't have any.
good. Jonathan?
Works for me.
I'm good.
Okay, let's book it.
4:30?
Second Thursday, 4:30, November 12th and December 10th. We need a motion and a vote?
It'd be preferable, yes.
Okay.
I
Go.
move that we change the November and December 2026 meetings to a 4:30 start time on the second Thursday of each month, of those 2 months.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Jonathan seconds. Any additional comments? Hearing none. Public comment? No public comment. Closed.
So just
Yes, sir.
quick question
Yeah.
then. You'll work with committee members to determine what the committee's structure will have to look like those months? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got,
It's a great point.
I have air service that week, on the 9th.
Chris will figure it out. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Director Amati,
Aye.
Director Gagliardi,
Aye.
Director Leffel,
Yes,
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chair Pick.
Yes. All right, passes unanimously. I need a bathroom break.
good.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take 5. All right, we're back in session. Board reports and acceptance of department reports. So ad hoc committees, local jurisdiction committee.
Wait. I have a question on this,
Yeah.
big time.
Have at it.
What happened to American? Holy cow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm on. We had several issues. So obviously, we have the 7-3 that has returned. American has limited staff. So depending on how many people are here, they can only work one aircraft at a time. So that contributes to delays in people getting off the aircraft.
Okay, but
Here's-
what are we doing with
Yeah, what are
American?
we doing? Sure. So we've reached out to, first, let me say that there's been a change in management at American. They no longer have a station manager. They've got someone interim. So
They don't have a station manager?
it's an interim station manager. So we're working with him when these issues arise. We also elevate them to, first I'm forgetting to Marty's role. So the regional manager, we elevate them to the regional manager, but it's part and parcel due to personnel and equipment. There's not a ton that we personally can do.
Have to continue to let them know. We do. I would say the one on the 513, that one, that person reached out via email to us. And when we researched it, we looked at cameras, they showed up late for that flight.
No, I figured that one. That one was not my issue. It was 5:27. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened, because a good friend of mine was on the plane, it was because one of the employees, they only had 2, it was late at night, and one took a nap and the other one didn't wake him up. I'm not kidding. The plane landed and
Sleeping.
the staff was sleeping.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't know, except my friend was on the plane and oh, I know what it was. They couldn't get in the terminal. They got off the plane and the terminal door was locked. They couldn't get in. So people walked up our ramp and out that way. That was the last time. But I mean, I honestly think, Chris, that we should write a letter to American and say, look, this is unacceptable.
We do when we write to Marty, because that is American, he is the regional manager. So it is in writing that we put this information to them. So, and we can follow up. I'm sure you saw it. Again, hopefully they're staffing up. It seems to have been a little bit better. They did 2 aircraft today at the same time simultaneously. So hopefully there's, staffing up, and that this new temporary person at least is getting their feet under them to understand what it takes and how many people they need to have at one time. But we will follow up and make sure.
I mean, I think if that went to FAA, that American would have a big fat fine and deserve it. I was like, whoa.
Right.
Well, please monitor it. Just,
Anything else?
that was fine.
Just two, I did have a question. The baggage check-in area being unattended, that's also airline responsibility, right? Is there something spelled out in our agreement with them as to the hours that the baggage areas are staffed depending on, flight arrival times and all that?
So I defer to Chris on that. I don't think there's anything in the agreement, and the only airline that has a baggage service office is American. Now, that being said, when they are unloading bags, they're required to come inside once they're done. So there is personnel available when there is a flight that has landed and the bags have been disembarked from the plane.
There's not, each airline has a different procedure for how soon or flight you can check in your bags. So it really, that is up to the airlines to make sure that they're there at the appropriate time. So if it's 3 hours ahead that you can check a bag in, then they're there at 3 hours. And that's when they physically can open their terminal and start checking people in. So there are parameters by airline on when they can check people in.
Okay. And then I noticed there were just a ton of delayed flights out of SFO in May.
Yep, and we'll see that again. SFO is doing runway work is one
Yeah.
of the issues. The second issue is that the FAA has told them they can't do simultaneous landings. So it has significant impacts across the whole system for every airport that is flying in to SFO. And you'll see something similar for this month. They've had a lot of fog, but we've not had the fog as heavy in the mornings. They have, that even exasperates it.
How long is that gonna be?
The runway?
Yep.
I think it's October, I believe, is when it was supposed to.
And then did we not have a police report this month?
It didn't make it into the packet, so you'll get 2 next month.
Fantastic.
It was online, it was in the online. packet.
Oh,
It didn't
all right.
make it into
That's the
the
one I
packet.
got.
Well, the good news is that cancellations were wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there was a big thing from, one of the new Monterey residents who ran for office on social media saying that we cancel or delay everything. Today, and I went.
It does have a significant impact though, because there are so many people who are flying to San Francisco for connections
Yeah.
and then miss that connection.
right.
And is really
Oh, yeah, yeah,
impactful.
totally.
I tell them to go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carl,
About what?
questions or comments on the staff reports?
No, looks good.
No, we went over all these in service.
Likewise, no questions, thank you. Okay, committee reports, local jurisdiction liaison.
No, nothing.
I'm curious, what are you guys gonna do for your public?
That's LAFCO. We'll talk about that. LAFCO.
Oh, that was
On
This
to
is
LAFCO.
local jurisdiction.
a local jurisdiction.
You want LAFCO?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So on Monday, we had several things. We had Kate McKenna's retirement and said goodbye to her after 22 years of service.
Wow.
And that was number one. Number two, we elected a chair and vice chair. I am the chair till May of 27. And Matt Gorley is the vice chair. That being said, then the public member piece of that, have been at a stalemate now for 3 months on who would be the public member. So we elected Mike Bickle as the alternate, and we voted to open it back up to the public for applications. And see what happens. We do not meet in July, so the next meeting will be the end of August. We also introduced our new executive director. His name is Ken Moisaki, and he has had an extensive career in government agencies. His most recent was that he was the public works director for the city of, and he had been there 1 year. So he came because his wife accepted a job, and he came from the East Bay Parks District. So anyway, he's got a really good resume, and I think
That's Kate's job. He's doing, that's a big deal.
It is.
so. Yeah, that was meeting.
July 13th is the upcoming meeting.
RTA, don't miss.
Finally.
I was unable to make the TAMPS meeting, and Carl,
Yeah, if you give me just a couple minutes, I think that we have some important things to maybe consider. One thing, MST surf project is on time and on budget. They're about halfway done. They just, the air quality resource, people have an incentive program for government agencies that buy electric vehicles. Looks like we missed our opportunity, but it might be worth looking into. It's $5,000 per government electric vehicle, up to 3 vehicles that they will give you until they run out of money. Adaptive signaling. This is what I wanted to spend a couple minutes on. As of the 1st of April, all 9 intersections are now part of the adaptive signaling. It's taking in information and making decisions on lights. They claim that at the most congested time, it only takes 35 minutes to get from Jocelyn Canyon all the way to San Bonancho. And most of the people at TAMC thought that 35 minutes was a good day. Whatever time savings you usually have when you go through there is at the expense of somebody else. They remind us for every green light, there is at least 1 or more red lights. And they have noticed an increase in complaints from people on the side street and people making left-hand turns, because that's where they're getting their extra time to keep it green. There have been traffic collisions out there, a lot more traffic collisions. For many, a green light or a yellow light means speed up. And out of 90 collisions within the last couple months, 3/4 of them are occurring at intersections. And the 3 worst intersections is also where the bottleneck is occurring. That's Los Relos Grade, that's Corral de Tierra, and it's San Bonancho Canyon. So right now, adaptive signaling doesn't really give you too much of a savings, and they don't look at time savings. What they look at is the number of vehicles they can get from point A to point B in 1 hour. And from all those intersections affected, if they do nothing at all and just go back to the old regularly signaling, they can get 1,101 vehicles per hour. With adaptive signaling, that number only goes up to 1,188, so 87 more vehicles. What they are leaning towards is what they're calling phase 1, 6 intersections with adaptive signaling and roundabouts on those 3 intersections: Corral de Tierra, San Bonancho, and Los Relos Grade. That would also improve accidents down there. With that plan, the modeling tells them that they will get 1,440, so 253 more vehicles. If they did go to a two-lane highway freeway there, which is not going to happen, that would be 4,000 cars per hour. Anyway, they're leaning towards that. That decision is going to be made in August. They do not meet in July, so you don't have to worry about that meeting. We don't. If we want to make a comment on this, that would be the time for us to probably discuss it, take a vote on it, and maybe send a letter. There is no plans to add any other roundabouts other than those three. If you look at the packet, they give proposals for those and gives all this other information. Thank you, Denise, for putting that together for us. They did acknowledge, Joe, that if they make that improvement, it's possible that the next bottlenecks could occur on Corral de Tierra at 218 and Jocelyn Canyon. So worst case or best case scenario, those 5 intersections, the 3 I mentioned, plus Corral, Canyon Del Rey, 218 Canyon Del Rey, and Jocelyn Canyon might get roundabouts. Olmsted is not being considered at this time, roundabouts. So, that's too bad because I thought a roundabout there would take care of the traffic that we're taking off of Garden Road or going to Garden Road. But no plans to put one. So if we want to try to get one, maybe that's something we come back and talk about. And that's really all I have for that.
Great report. Thanks, Carl. Chris, is that something you guys, from a staff perspective, want to input to Hampson for August?
If I'm being given direction that you want us to have a say in it, then
Well, I'll ask
we
the
can
board here in
work
a
on
minute.
it, but-
Without direction, what's your sense?
I haven't looked this over yet.
Okay,
I think I would really have to digest it and
Okay.
see.
let us know.
A roundabout does not, would not come without us giving up property and other things, so it's not just a roundabout. There are things that would impact us
Okay.
as far as real estate out there.
Okay, yeah.
Got it. Okay. So we've got until August on that.
Well, you'd have to, they're going to vote on this on August.
When do we need to get our input?
If we talk about it in July, if we want to do that, then we could get it in time. And they're not having a meeting in July.
Got it.
But they need to move on this because they have money that may not become available for the roundabouts that they need to spend.
All right. Thanks, Carl.
May I ask a question? So, Chris, when there was the EIR and everything, we talked about the roundabout at Garden Road and the entrance. And we've also, our financial packages on how many more passengers have the bigger planes. Have we looked at how that, we have 3 in at one time, how then that backs up trying to get out onto Homestead? It'll back up into a roundabout. There's no doubt about it. It's not that long there between Homestead where the exit will be from our parking.
If when I leave and everyone's coming off Garden Road around 5 o'clock, it backs up, significantly even then because of the landscape companies that are on Garden Road. So that's when I see it the most. I don't necessarily see it as much with passenger traffic, but definitely when work gets out at the end of the day off of Garden Road, then it really does start to pick up.
I think we should.
For 68, for all 60.
2-lane freeway, yeah.
Right. Okay, Special District Association Liaison.
No meeting till next month.
Okay, MPAD?
MBAG did meet, and MBAG just went over the transportation plan again and some tweaks on it. So I think we asked for that to be put on our agenda to give a proposal or a presentation to all of you. So it doesn't really impact us. We're not part of their reporting.
Yeah.
So, but they did talk a lot about the money that's coming in, and a huge percent of that is going to go for bike.
Hmm.
So I think that was my big takeaway. Millions of dollars that are going to go for bike.
Okay. Anything else? You good? I missed one under local government. So Chris and I went to the Carmel City Council meeting, the last Carmel City Council meeting. Chris presented a terrific briefing to them on the status of the terminal and the other improvements, and we had a good Q&A with council. Thank you.
Good.
All right. Board member reports and conferences and events. Anything?
We have leadership tomorrow here, right? Is that right?
What do you have tomorrow?
Leadership. Come here. I think we're eating here. We're eating Woody. Yeah.
You're in leadership honorary cohort?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. I love that. Okay, pending requests for future agenda items. So I think we would like to put Hampshire State Route 68 corridor plan discussion on for July. And then I see AMBAG presentation.
Yeah.
For July, or just when they're ready?
I mean, if we have that in July, we don't need both of them in July. So, you know, it could be August, September.
Okay. We'll go TAMC in July, please.
I just think you all can see the full big picture of the Tri-County region. If you see that.
Sounds great. Any other requests for future agenda items? Okay. All right. Then we are adjourned
Good.
and going to
The
close.
closed
Right.
session.
Adjourn out of open session.
This meeting, we're gonna adjourn this meeting and we will.
Continue.
we will,
Reconvene the special meeting.
the special that began at 4:30, but was recessed.
Reconvene is the right word? Great. So we're adjourning this meeting and reconvening the closed session meeting, which started at 4:30 today.
Correct.
All right.